Alright, so moving on to the final segment, I'll be sharing my thoughts on Gervonta Tank Davis being sent to jail. So the news last week broke, and this has been a developing story over the last few days as we receive more information of what is going on in the life of Gervonta Davis. So last Thursday, Gervonta Davis was sent to jail due to violating his house arrest. The boxing star a few weeks after scoring his big win against Ryan Garcia, he was put on house arrest for 90 days. He was put on probation for 3 years and was sentenced to serve 200 hours of community service after his hit and run incident in 2020. After he beat Leo Santa Cruz, unfortunately that night Gervonta Davis got behind the wheel drinking and driving and did a hit and run on a pregnant woman. Do I stand by it? No, but I'll get to that in a few moments. But that is the reason why Gervonta Davis faced that sentencing. So last week, and these were the repercussions for that act in 2020 that led to Gervonta Davis getting those things that I just mentioned. So last week, Gervonta Davis was sent to court and was immediately sent to jail after violating his house arrest. A record show that he stayed in the Four Seasons Hotel and bought a $3.4 million condo in South Baltimore. Now Gervonta Davis is set to serve the rest of his 90-day house arrest inside behind bars inside a prison. So my thoughts on this. This is unfortunate for one of the biggest stars in boxing, one of the biggest box office attractions in the sport of boxing, that Gervonta Davis is in jail. It is unfortunate. I do believe that Gervonta Davis did not get a fair shake in this house arrest deal. And let me explain why. First off, the judge did not allow Gervonta Davis to stay in his own house for this house arrest. We know that Gervonta Davis has different locations. He has different properties, but he didn't. The judge did not allow Gervonta Davis to stay at his actual home for this 90-day house arrest. The judge forced Gervonta Davis to stay with his longtime trainer Calvin Ford at Calvin Ford's house for the 90-day suspension. For the 90-day house arrest. For 90 days in Baltimore. The judge wanted a millionaire, someone who has a net worth of $10 million. Gervonta Davis has busted his ass to be where he's in the position today. A millionaire who has a net worth of $10 million. The judge wanted Gervonta Davis to spend his 90-day house arrest inside a one-bedroom apartment. How is that fair for a millionaire that is used to things, he's busted his butt to be in the position that he's in today, having the net worth that he's had, having the success that he's had, being a millionaire, and you're forcing him to stay in a one-bedroom apartment? I just don't agree with that. In my perspective, I just don't agree with the judge making him do that. And the judge also did not allow Gervonta Davis to train during the 90-day house arrest. Gervonta Davis evidently asked during the court hearing in May, it wasn't possible for him to go to the gym and train during his 90-day house arrest. The judge said no. What is the problem with Gervonta Davis wanting to train, wanting to work on his craft, staying out of the streets, not going into the public during his 90-day house arrest? The judge could at least cut him some slack and let him work out for at least 2 hours a day. I would have gave him that. Just 2 hours a day. They could get some cardio in, he'd get some bag work in, he'd get some sparring in. Just give him some type of work to work with for 3 months during a 90-day house arrest. The judge did not allow him to do that as well. But in my opinion, I do believe that the attorneys officially dropped the ball on Gervonta Davis. If Gervonta Davis is on house arrest and he buys a $3.4 million condo in Maryland, you have to talk to the judges ASAP, to make sure he does not get in trouble. Because Gervonta Davis bought this condo and he was planning to stay for the rest of his house arrest inside of this condo in South Baltimore. And he was not allowed to leave the state of Maryland, which Gervonta Davis did not. But your attorneys, you got to jump on that and tell the judge ASAP, hey, my client Gervonta Davis has bought a condo. Is he allowed to stay here for his 90-day arrest? His attorneys did not. His attorneys did not tell his judge, and that is why the judge rushed him in. Once the judge got this information, she rushed him in, and that is how Gervonta Davis was immediately sentenced to spend the rest of his 90-day house arrest inside a prison, inside a jail behind bars. So definitely, I do believe that they fumbled this. The attorneys definitely fumbled this. The blame has to go to them as well, protecting your client, Gervonta Davis. But I love Gervonta Davis. You guys know, as much as I talk about on this podcast about boxing, how much I love Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis right now is currently my favorite boxer in the sport of boxing. He's just a thrill to watch. He brings everything to the table. He makes you entertain, no matter who he's fighting on the card. He can make you entertain fighting me next weekend if it came down to it. He's just someone that likes to have fun in the ring. He's someone that is excitement to watch. He's someone that you don't want to miss a second of the fight because he has knockout power to end the fight faster than anybody can anticipate. He has the highest knockout percentage in all of combat sports, in boxing and in UFC. So Gervonta Davis brings a lot to the table in the sport of boxing. He actually brings a lot of fresh eyes, fresh viewers to the sport, as we saw over the last few months, over the last few years. So you guys know that I love Gervonta. He's not perfect by any means, and no human being out there and on planet Earth is perfect. And everyone makes mistakes. His mistakes were just bigger than what normal humans make. Do I agree with the hit and run, like I said a few moments ago? No. Do I agree with him putting his hands on women? No. But this is someone that has learned from his. This is someone that's learning from his mistakes. This is someone that has taken accountability for the wrongs that he's done and put his 2 feet and moved forward. You have to give all the credit in the world for what this man is doing. He's not a monster. He is not a monster that the media portrays him to be. And every human on this planet deserves a second chance, no matter what wrongs that you have done. Everybody deserves a second chance. Nobody deserves to be shunned away because of mistakes that they made. No, every person gets a second chance. And Gervonta Davis deserves a second chance, just like anybody else out there that would make a key mistake in their own respective lives. Yeah, that's the way how you got to look at it. He's not a monster. He does a lot of positive things. He's a role model for a lot of people. The kids of Baltimore that could be in the same position. There could be a young man in Baltimore right now going through the trials and tribulations that Gervonta Davis went through growing up. Not having much, not having a good support system, and they're working their way up, chasing their dreams because their hero Gervonta Davis, they have Gervonta Davis to look up to. His story that he's came out of Baltimore has been incredible. He has fought through trials and tribulations his whole entire life. And he's showing that in his boxing career today as he blossoms to being one of the biggest stars that the sport has to offer today. But I just hate how the media bashes him to be a monster. And the prime example is this. The internet bashed Gervonta when he got locked up 2 weeks before his fight against Hector Luis Garcia back in December. He got locked up, and he got charged for unnecessary things. And the world just automatically just jumped on, oh, Gervonta Davis can't stay out of trouble. Gervonta this, Gervonta that. Pump the brakes. Relax. Every human makes mistakes. And evidently, when he got locked up 2 weeks before his fight against Hector Luis Garcia, when he got charged for 14 charges, he didn't do a damn thing wrong. It was his baby mama that was trying to set him up in that position to make up a false story on the phone with the police. And she came out and said that was a BS lie, that was a BS act that she did. And she put their own daughter's poop, shit on the toothbrush. You can't do that. You cannot do that. So things like that. And the world, I will not forget how the world just attacked Gervonta Davis. Didn't even know what the hell was going on. And just said the man just can't stay out of trouble. Gervonta Davis has, in my opinion, has done a great job staying out of trouble since that incident in 2020. Since putting his hands on women back in the day. He has done a great job. He's looked forward. He's been focused in his career. He's had his head above water. He's had a great support system to help him be one of the biggest stars in boxing. But I do believe that Gervonta Davis's days, toughest days, could be ahead. He will be in summer. He will be in jail, as we know, for the rest of the summer. He has to keep his head above water. He has to stay positive. And the news that broke today was very unfortunate as well. In his house in Florida, we saw the news that people broke into Gervonta Davis's house. They stole tons of jewelry. They stole his championship accolades that he has achieved over the sport of in his overall career in boxing since his amateur days all the way to being a pro. They stole some things. They stole some maybe some gold medals, maybe some championships, and they stole a lot of things. They also stole his vehicles from his home as well. So you got heads up to Gervonta, prayers up to Gervonta. He's got to keep his head up. Stay positive during this time, and this is truly where you're gonna find out who is your biggest supporters, who's in your corner. Because for someone to get away with something like that, that had to be in someone's corner in Gervonta's inner circle that took those things away from him, took away those boxing things away from his house, took some jewelry away from his house, especially taking his cars. I don't understand how you can get away from stealing, breaking into a mansion, then stealing cars out of the mansion. So, Gervonta Davis is definitely going to find out who is with him during these hard times, during his house arrest and jail. But in a recent interview, I think that Calvin Ford said it best. Give Gervonta Davis, this could be the best thing that could happen to Gervonta Davis over these next 90 days. This could be time for Gervonta Davis to clear his mind, block out distractions, and to get back on track of what truly is important, and that's being the best boxer in the world today. That's the vision that they have for Gervonta Davis. He has some big-time fights still to be made in the sport. We just saw that big money fight with Ryan Garcia, but now it's time for Gervonta to go after legacy fights. And he has that to look forward to once he gets out of jail, once he keeps his head down and grinds, and and wants to go through the process of being one of the best boxers of this generation, if he decides to do so. There's still a big-time fight on the table, potentially an undisputed fight with him and Devin the Dream Haney at 135 pounds. There's still a big-time fight with him and Shakur Stevenson that could be a generational fight at 135 pounds. There's still a big monumental fight to be made if he wants it between him and Vasily Lomachenko at 135 pounds. There's just 3 fights on the top of my head that I can name that Gervonta Davis could easily go after once he gets out of jail and once he serves his 90-day house arrest in jail. But those are my thoughts on Gervonta Davis going to jail. I wish him nothing but the best for him and his team. But that is all the time I have for you guys today on the first ever Combat Series Episode 1. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.